Spoiler alert, the following video discusses content from Broken Lizard's Club Dread. This includes the ending and other important scenes. We recommend watching the movie before this review to minimize any loss of content. Thank you and enjoy. Also as a disclaimer, we do not own the pictures, themes, or characters in this video. They are only used for entertainment and criticism and are reserved by the respective companies.
Who lives in a pineapple next to the sea? Machete Phil, who uses a kapis and murders with glee. Machete Phil, if murderous nonsense be something you wish. Machete Phil, then go in the forest and cut off your dick.
What?
Machete Phil, Machete Phil, Machete Phil. You okay, man? Welcome back to Horror Harvest. I am Scarefro with my good friend here, Edward, and tonight we'll be bringing you Club Dread. I almost fucked the name up already. Anyways, Club Dread.
Yeah.
Basically what it is, it's not just a horror film. As we're going to be doing horror in games, films, and what have you, we also want to do some comedy. And this is a satirical horror. But that isn't, it's poking fun at some of the movie tropes. Like Scary Movie and other of its kind.
Well, not really. Scary Movie is very slapstick and does a ton of work to that. This could actually be passed off as a scary movie if it weren't for those small comedic things that they throw in to actually emphasize how ridiculous some of the concepts are.
Yes, and as we were saying, like, there are a few very brief, or actually very elongated comedy. For instance, there's one girl is trying to escape the killer in a go-kart, where the go-kart is slower than the guy is walking. He's just walking there.
He literally just walks up next to it and
just cuts her.
Finishes.
Just finishes the job.
That.
Don't finish! Don't finish me! No!
Moving on.
Immortality!
Bullet point list. Oh, are you a villain? Something that also is brought up. You think we should just cover this now or wait till the end? You know, it doesn't really matter, considering we're coming off of tropes anyway. Talking about tropes, one of the things that's pointed out, but more towards the end of the movie, is how the killer never seems to die. And this goes immensely far with this. And at first, we were thinking, wow, this is ridiculous. And then we realized they were making it ridiculous. They were trying to emphasize it. At first, though, it seemed so natural because it seemed like something that would actually be in a movie. Guy gets stabbed, somehow he's still alive. Guy chases them down, somehow he's still strong. Guy jumps in the water after them and climbs on their boat, somehow he's still fine. And guy gets cut in half. At this point, we really caught on to how ridiculous it was being. He gets cut in half by the rope. His legs still kicking and his arms still flaying, and he still even wraps his arms around and gets back onto the boat. He actually swims half his body while his other half sinks up back onto the boat and climbs on. And then after the credits go away, after they throw him back in the water, you see his legs still kicking. And it's like, some movies can some get away with this, but for instance, we're going to be covering these later in videos. Nightmare on Elm Street, where Freddy always seems to come back. But he's an immortal. That's
exactly
different. This is just a random person that they're trying to make stronger for the sake of storytelling.
Exactly. He's a random person who's just getting pissed off and wants to murder people. And he's murdering people as a result of it. And he is coming back from fatal blows. And it's just, as you said, ridiculous.
We should, if there's a place to start, other than the end apparently, would be the beginning.
The beginning.
And in the beginning, there is a setup that shows the killer and the island and everything. It takes place on an island, and that is with 3 people who all die in the first few minutes. You see,
granted, we don't really get emotionally attached to them.
In fact, they kind of make it clear that we should think they're assholes. Within the first few minutes, or at least, the same kind of assholes that are in other movies, they kick over a grave, deface a statue, and yell at a monkey.
No, not again! Not again!
Alright?
Immortal!
Anyway, they are complete jerks. It's made completely clear that we're not supposed to even like these people. But, as She is licking his nipples. The murderer comes up on them. Yeah, it was gonna be a three-way, but and kills the three of them, and the movie starts, which is interesting because later in the movie they actually have a scene that shows that happening in the background while we're watching two people talking. It's like, it's different perspective.
I guess that's how drunk they really were. They just see a body flat. They don't even see it,
drunk.
but
it's a vacation island.
I get
so,
it.
I mean, everyone's drunk, everyone's partying. It's
I get it,
literally the perfect place for a horror movie.
Fair enough, actually. You had a good point there, but it's like the body just got killed there, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you wanna come back with me? You wanna come back with me, your flesh?" But it's like, am I gonna get bopped again?
Moving on.
I mean, again, the one.
And then we have Pleasure Island, Coconut Pete, and the Fun Policeman, which is actually.
What the lamest title to be, the Fun Police. In fact, actually,
literally a guy that's just demanding that everyone drinks and has fun and blah, blah, blah.
I even said by watching him, I said, okay, so this is the douchebag who's just not gonna get any pussy and just gonna be there to be, hey, have fun, guys, remember to have fun! It's just, as you said, it's basically the guy who basically hates his life every single day.
Oh, did we ever give that warning in this recording that's like, there will be spoilers? Because we've given a few spoilers. We'll put it in an annotation in the beginning. No, not annotation. Just a slide in the beginning. Whatever.
Yes.
We'll write it down and stick it to a screen with a sticky note. Anyway.
Sticky note, obviously. But.
Anyway, there's Coconut Pete as well, which is the owner of the island, a washed-up musician, and he, well, simple enough. He runs the island. He seems to be in charge of everything, and
surely he's not cutting himself off from enjoying his own island. But
and the setup actually, and this is one of the reasons he's so important to the story, is that only employees of the island, like the major managers and such, are getting killed. Like the people who, major sport director guy, the game arranger person, all those people
DJ,
that you would majorly see, like tour guides and stuff like that, people who you will directly work with and seem to be very big parts, the people whose names you'll know when you leave.
Exactly. And it's those people who need to keep the place running to make sure nothing goes wrong.
Then again, no one seems to notice once they all go missing. Because they start one by one going missing, and they don't even notice that half the staff is gone until they see them hanging from the ceiling, dripping blood into the ice.
And then the ice thing, and just like, that's not vodka, that's blood. Well, of course it's not vodka.
Well, I don't think it was gonna be vodka. I think he was gonna pour something else. I think it might have been rum, actually. Anyway, or maybe a mixed drink.
Maybe. I mean, rum have more of a color to blood than vodka. Anyways, going back to more of the beginning setting is, along with more movie tropes, some of the staff members are tropes in themselves. For instance, Lars, big fat black guy. Not black. Oh my god, I messed up. Big fat guy. He's a big fat guy. Anyways, so people don't. He's like the new person there. Not many people trust him. He is also really good at massages, and also really good at.
Like he states, frankly, everything in our body is connected with buttons. He can push those buttons, and
he actually uses this, and some of them are actually quite funny.
Yeah, I mean, there's this one point where he just pushes on a girl's lip, and she starts acting like she's having the most amazing orgasm of her life.
In fact, actually, that's how he sedates the killer later on. He just like...
Yeah, he grabs his wrist, and the killer just stops and starts acting like he's
in fact,
in the middle of coitus.
He even says, he's like, come on, guys, he's gonna be orgasming for the next few minutes. Just get on, he's gonna get really messy. And he just keeps his finger there, and this guy has his neck, the kapis right against his neck, and he's just there, like, pretty much orgasming, and he's just like, come on, I want to know that. Just come up behind somebody.
That would be an interesting trick.
Just be like, shh,
don't touch me there. Anyway,
and then
the build-up comedy, because there's a lot of space that needs to be filled up by comedy. As we were talking about the different tropes that the characters fill, token black guy who's also a token foreigner because he's British. There's the fat guy. There's a Cuban. No.
Not really cute. I would say maybe he's more of maybe
he's
Colombian?
Hispanic.
I know he's Hispanic, but maybe Colombian.
Anyway, he fucked a goat. So there's that guy.
I'm surprised he's not Scottish. Sorry. Anyways, and then you have like the Asian woman whose name is literally You. Why you? Like it's like they even make the joke of that you and Hank are dead. What did they ever do to me? What did they ever do to me? No, you and Hank are dead. But
wait, did they make that joke?
Yes. Remember?
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, remember it's I don't remember who found him on the beach, but they came in and was trying to tell Coconut Pete that you and Hank are in trouble or something like that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to blur out the pop cans, aren't we?
Why not? Why?
Because it's Coke.
Oh fuck.
Unless we can't see the title.
I don't see it.
Anyway, moving on would be the build-up comedy, as we were about to talk about, which is up until the moments where Dread and such start placing in, it's fully comedy. As a normal one would be kind of sitcom, like you introduce the characters. Yeah. This one, since it is a comedy, fills it with comedy.
Exactly.
Of course, it's like mostly getting to know the characters, and it's funny. This guy touches a girl on her lip, and she starts creaming herself. This guy does this, that guy does that. Everyone being funny in their own way, as you would expect.
This guy bullying the British black guy, sitting at the bar, talking at the bar. Yeah, it's just keeps going.
Guy dies later, and the British black guy, what was his name?
Putnam. I think he's I can't remember his first name, but Putnam. But anyways,
Putnam. Yeah,
they see him after. They see him right after the guy who was bullying him got murdered. He actually was swimming, and they threw a television into the pool, and
he was just happy to hear that the guy died. And that might seem mean, and it might seem wrong, but to be fair, the guy was a dick.
This guy was
if you had enough time, which these people obviously did, to get used to the idea that people were gonna die, then obviously the person who was being a total asshole at some point, it's gonna cross your mind like, God, I hope he dies before I do.
And yeah, and then he even has is smoke coming out of his ears because it's this guy had been just shooting his mood down. It was unpleasant. So in fact, actually, I was happy to see him die. I'm pretty sure you were as well.
Yeah, quite. But after the build-up comedy, we reach the first point where it is the campfire.
Yes,
which is it's still comedic and everything because it's a campfire story, but it follows the same theme as a normal campfire story in a horror movie, which is there is a campfire that gives us our basic background, where a murderer came from, blah blah blah, or at least where they assume the murderer came from through the movie because they need something to be afraid of. They need something to go off of, and so do we. So until we find out the entire story, that's what we're going to work with.
And the story basically went like this. There's a guy whose name was Phil, and I think he was a chef or maybe a bartender, but this hot woman, almost total, goddess walks in and talks to him, and basically, he's smitten. And they go into the forest because, he might get lucky. But she starts asking weird questions like, do you believe in the urban legends? Do you believe in the folk tales? You believe in spirits? And they even pull in
and, of course, voodoo. Voodoo. Everyone's favorite bailout religion. Everyone's favorite thing to use just because, I can't explain it. It was a voodoo spell, so it's scary. I'm getting sick of them always using voodoo as a bailout.
I know.
They did the same thing in Child's Play. We were going to review that one here in a little while. Look for that one.
Yeah, please. Actually, that might be. Anyway. That would be definitely interesting to watch. But anyways, so she keeps talking about these things, and he keeps going along because once again, I get pussy. But they go into this mine. I think they said a mine.
Doesn't matter. Had sex.
That doesn't matter. Had sex. But so they do actually end up having sex. But when he looks down, it's a corpse, not freshly risen out of the ground, cold, dead, white corpse. And
it's not like she had died while they were doing it. She was risen from the ground. She was dead the entire time.
But he didn't see it.
In fact, they even said before when they were saying voodoo and this and that, they said zombies.
Yes, and it's they're just putting everything together, and it's just. But anyway, so horrified and stuff, he goes back, chops apparently all of his staff members to bits, then goes into the forest, and for no other reason, cuts his dick off. Why? And then it's why his name is Machete Phil. But once again, why did he have to cut? Why did he cut his dick off? I guess he's
probably just disgusted from the idea that it was inside a dead body.
Pretty sure, anyways. But
I mean, I would probably just give it a good scrubbing and maybe a decent talking to. Control yourself, little man.
Precisely.
Well, not exactly little.
But it's it just seems a bit extreme to. Once again, cut up your entire staff and cut your dick off. That's like a double negative. Why?
Something I loved in this movie was one of the games that they actually played in it, though. Pac-Man IRL.
It was amazing.
It was, basically, you're Pac-Man. Yeah, basic idea. And these women dressed in shirts, color coordinated, Inky, Blinky, Pinky, Clyde, all are chasing you. And if you drink the drink, which is basically the power pellet, then they all take off their clothes and you chase them. Basic idea, and there are guys running around
in fruit suits,
which pretzel, pretzel has sex with watermelon, and why not?
Yeah.
And then the pear is...
Which is cannibalistic, because he's eating a pear, just in the parachute, so he's...
Cannibalism! Scariest thing in the movie so far at that point. But then the first murder arises, which is the pear! He gets cornered in the maze and just across the stomach.
And then the next murder arises where I think two of the campers were walking out to the beach and they see this guy coming in. Well, not really see him, and they see him crash into the side of a kiosk. And they see Naughty, I think it was Carlos, wasn't it? Not Carlos.
And they all have a message carved on their chest. Naughty,
Carlos, Naughty...
wasn't Carlos the one that stayed till...
Juan.
No, that was Juan.
Carlos was the guy on the...
Yeah, so they have their names, put Naughty this, Naughty that, and that's all in reference, actually, to an old album of Coconut Pete's that... Basically, it was Naughty
Cows, because...
That was the name of the thing, so he's referencing that, and it turns out that is making reference to how they're dying. Such as...
The first one was, it was talking about, I think it was a pear itself, how it got lost in... The first one was actually like, 3 people go off into a seaside adventure, and they were never seen again. Whereas the first 3, he went out into the woods, and once again, they were killed. Or how the one stoner head always is gone, and he fell, took a fall, and cracked open his shell. The guy, Carlos, who literally not only got sliced up, but he actually fell, banged his head into the kiosk, and cracked open his head. So...
And then there are other ones that they're trying to decode that came later in the song, such as the octopus this or that or whatever, which end up never actually showing up. That was just the murderer trying to mess with them, wasn't it?
What I think it is obviously I think Orca, because it's a whale, I think it's trying to make a play on Lars, because he's fat. So I'm thinking, and octopus would have been, putting them because he has the dreadlocks, so I'm thinking he's an octopus.
Yeah, they reference that in the movie, they say.
Yeah.
And everyone seems to ignore it except one guy. He's like, he looks like an octopus, and everyone's like, don't be ridiculous.
I think that was the guy. The fun police guy.
Really? He's the one that originally said that?
Yes, I think it was. Which is ironic because, spoiler alert,
he's the murderer.
Exactly. So it's kind of ironic that if he's calling him an octopus, he's making reference to his old song, which is playing away how he's killing people, which no one really thinks to think about. And he also, it's just, there's little things that obviously show out, which those who watch Clarence could probably deduce that he was the murderer anyways, but...
that's... We were paying attention to the comedy and what have you more than anything.
Yeah.
Whoever said we were professional at this? No one watching our video. Thank you very much for watching, though.
Thank you. Yes.
Because if you've made it this far, I'm sorry.
Even this is our second video of the 500th. Thank you for very much, because
I'm fairly certain it's our second.
Well, yes, but I'm saying if whoever's watching it, it might be their second if they're sticking with us from the beginning. Once again, thank you very much. Or the 500th, who knows? But once again, this is our second for the Horror Harvest series. So, going along with some of the comedy we're killing, as you said.
You want to hear about horror? There is not a single real boob in this movie. It's all implanted. I'll tell you right now that there are a few shirtless scenes. It's partial nudity. Nothing you can't handle if you're, over 6 years old. But
and then there's obviously 2 scenes where you see Juan doing shit, and it's like once again,
a few sex scenes, no actually showing anything. It's just like a pretzel mushing up against the back of a watermelon kind of deal.
The only thing that's probably worse is when the 3. They thought that the girl, that the second girl, her name was Penelope, which was funny, as you said. I think we already covered that.
That he only called her throughout the entire movie Penelope.
Penelope.
And no one corrected him. Not even once. Throughout the entire thing, no one corrected him. Not even Penelope.
But anyways, they think that like she's a murderer, so they hang in the I don't know why they just stayed in this closet as they had to listen and watch Juan have sex with Penelope. And it's like, when she goes to take a break, walk out! It's obvious she's not the murderer.
They even talked to him while she was taking a break, and then when she was getting out, instead of quick, go, no, it was just, okay, stay in there.
But anyway, so
maybe Juan gets off on that, having people watch them.
Voyeurism. But
I watch them sometimes. Sometimes in the closet, sometimes outside the window, almost always dressed as Batman.
So yeah, but as we learn, we do learn that the police guys are killer. But it turns out the way that he is killing people is he's upset because Coconut Pete, he wants to go back to being a musician which is actually weird. He apparently wants to build a super band. Which, I forgot who went on drums, but he was going to go back on tour and get money. But he was given the deed to the DJ, which apparently treated him he thought of him like an uncle. But he thought that the DJ would just run to the grounds because, he didn't have good management skills. So he was upset, so he was having good management skills by keeping people doing their jobs, and if they didn't do their jobs, he would kill them.
It's insane.
Very. But it did get them to do their jobs, right? It got them to keep working. Most of them.
Yeah, but a lot of them, most of the time, they were trying to figure out who the murderer was, so they really weren't paying attention to their jobs, and they ended up sucking at them as a result, because they were scared. Remember the talent show?
Oh, yeah. That did suck. Well, it was just showing off
but
more
aside from the occasional person, like, what was his name? Fat guy?
Lars,
yeah. Lars loved Lars. He was a great character. He knew, different... he knew different... he was like a monk, a fat monk.
That's actually the best way to put him. He did Qigong, which we had to check out a bit. Actually,
because we've looked into Qigong before. Qigong, mastery of one's spiritual energy. It's taken a lot of forms, including different kinds of Taekwondo and yoga and
Tai
blah, blah, blah. But he was doing it with two swords, and we didn't know that there was a type that actually even used dual swords.
For Tai Chi, there is Qigong. We're pretty sure. I mean, we're not going to use it, but
Tai Chi is a form of
Qigong.
I mean, technically, because Qigong is just mastery of one's life energy, and that's what Tai Chi is, except a more distinct form of that. Anyway, the different
it should be fine.
Mike. Anyway, the different other than those few people like him that have their own really good personality traits, most people seem disposable. A lot of people are and all of the guests pretty much are just the faceless cutout of the other frat guy or slutty girl. They're pointless background characters,
Yeah, and so there's a few scenes where, Lars actually amazed us. They actually accused him of being the killer because he had a shrine, which made no sense. A shrine to Coconut Pete, which is okay. He's a raving fan, or a pretty creepy raving fan, but then he...
Yes, out of everything, all of the spiritual enlightenment stuff and everything, you'd think he wouldn't be so nutty as squirrel shit.
Yeah. But they ended up just thinking because the guy he went out to stay with in the forest to see if the guy ended up going missing, so they thought he killed him. But anyways...
Yeah, if you're keeping up, Lars, the one we're talking about, fat guy, it's spiritual, this, that, swords, blah, 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 blah. It's hard to keep track of a lot of the characters in this, because there's, a lot of people. Horror movies usually do have a lot of people, though, because it's, you have to keep track of... Because a few people need to die for different plot points, meaning you need to be introduced to a lot of people. Now, the issue is getting people invested and interested in all of these individual people within the amount of time necessary.
Yes.
This, I think, does it fine enough, but that's because of, over-characterization, which is necessary in comedy to keep it going. This guy does all of this crazy stuff, and in a normal movie it'd be well, why are they flushing this character out so much? But in a comedy, it's that's funny, we can work with that, so we forgive it. Comedies are very often forgiven. Actual horror movies that aren't trying to be comedies, must have a much harder time with it.
Especially because... as you said, all the other background characters are nothing but cut, pasted, frat boy, slutty girl. So they have
there's
the staff.
There's an actual point where it's two of them are talking, and they just go in and like stomach bump, and one of them goes in for a hug instead of a stomach bump. He's just like, dude,
don't be scared, don't be scared. And it's like, they need the staff to be the individual person. So to have Juan, have a very thick accent and
there were a lot of them that we really wanted to die. I mean, but they all served good purpose, I suppose.
They did in the end.
Yeah,
so
in their end. Only like 3 survived, I think.
Yeah, it was Lars, Penelope, and I can't remember. I think it was Jenny. She was like the athletics girl.
Is Penelope even like a
Yes.
Was she a member of staff though?
No, she was
So all of the staff except 2 people died.
Yes, Penelope. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Penelope. She was an Olympic gymnast actually, and she was going on a break, but she. That's one reason why that was a dirty, slow secret.
And she has fake boobs.
Yeah,
they all do. It's kind of a requirement for this movie.
Apparently so. I mean, they put all the other budget in all the comedy. I mean,
we should talk a bit more about like the murderer, how he acts, how he works.
Yeah,
he seems to really just. In a lot of the movie, he's not around. Like your classic, he hides in the shadows and we follow the terror of the characters kind of thing, which is good. It's very, mystery invoking. You can't really draw much about him, but he's basically wearing, I think it's like a tunic and a tribal mask.
If you notice something interesting, he's bigger than he normally is. I think he's trying to, once again, using Lars as a patsy. Because he implicates
Lars. Yeah, because even through it, I was thinking it might be Lars because he's big.
He's that big to fit that shape, but it's like we find out it's not him. But it's as I said.
At a certain point, a guy gets the black British guy gets handcuffed to a bed, but they don't have the key to the bed, and they don't have the lock to the door, and the villain's coming up, and you're thinking, well, he's eventually going to get up and kill him, and then from like a long distance, he just whips his weapon right through the guy's chest. Awesome scene.
Very sure.
But at the same time, I'm wondering, because in that scene, the villain got hit in the balls, and we assumed that he was ballless, because, Machete Pete, because he didn't react. But they never explain why he doesn't react.
Maybe just villain immortality. Get hit in the balls. Oh, that's nothing. Get shot to the chest.
That's invulnerability. Immortality means that you could be chained for the rest of eternity up and repeatedly hitting the balls for all of eternity.
Please.
That would be the worst thing ever. If I were to ever be immortal, that would be my personal hell. But I think we've talked just about as much as we can. We've talked this movie to death. What do you think?
That's it.
Any last words? Anything else?
Once again, I recommend it. It is pretty funny. It is still horror, so if you're not really into it as much as obviously we, because we're very desensitized by it, it might, should I say, turn your stomach a little bit. But other than that, it is still a great movie. We recommend you watch it and check in for the next video. We're probably gonna be doing Chucky, Hatchet, even in the next few videos. So. Just stay tuned.
We're doing Hatchet next.
Yes, we are.
We're doing Hatchet next.
Yes. So, anyways, check you next time. And if you have anything like wanting to say, comment the way we act, or anything, leave in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and catch you later.